2.
Woo! Darin Steen here with Exercise of the Week, episode 6. Real excited to show you some unique techniques on the leg raise for ab development. I've been a very busy one-on-one trainer since 2001. Over 1,100 people have graduated from my 12-week program, and almost every one of them, and the people that did consultations with me that didn't sign with me, their hands automatically went here within the first 10 minutes. That was a very important need. They said, how can you help me lose this? We can all relate to that. Define midsection six-pack abs. It's pretty much the epitome of sex appeal. That's why I started working out to get lean and to lose the football weight in 1989, because I was single and I wanted sex appeal. So I can relate to it. I'm sure you can relate to it too. So let's get into 4 or 5 tips on the leg raise to get into the deeper abdominal wall so that you can really start to see that midsection tightening and toning up and eventually going towards 6-pack or 8-pack abs. Let's get one thing straight. You can do the best ab exercises with the best techniques in the world with the best trainer, going to failure till you're blue in the face. But if your body fat level percentage for guys isn't 10 or 9 or 8%, for ladies, if it's not 14%, 13 or 12%, you're not going to see it. It's just going to be covered up because that fat's over top of your abdominal wall. So that's a whole nother story, but you got to get that body fat level down while you're building up the ab wall. So here we go. Let's get started. Entry level first, then intermediate, then some advanced techniques, all right? So I'm just going to do this on the bench. You can do it on the floor. I prefer the bench. It gives you a little bit more variety to get some things done entry level and advanced. So I'm going to turn it sideways here. So we're going to lay it back, bring the knees with you. Let's put the feet up on the bench. Things work best when you pin the shoulder blades down, because that's the base that you're pulling the lower body up from the legs. So on a bench, I really like to grab the top of the bench and pin the elbows nice and close to your ears versus staying loose up here. Staying loose up here is going to mean loose down here. So pin those shoulder blades tight, bring the elbows in towards the ears. Entry level, smush that lower back flat. Tailbone touches. Kick the legs out about that high. You should feel the ability to keep the lower back flat on the bench. If the lower back arches off, you will not feel as much focus in the lower and mid ab section. Maybe hold it for about 5 seconds and then give yourself a break. Pull your knees up. See if you can pull that tailbone off, the buns off the bench a little bit. Once the tailbone buns touch, take that baby out and maybe go a little bit lower and see if you can still keep the lower back flat on the bench. Maybe hold it for 5 seconds. Pull it back. Pull those knees toward your elbows. You might not be able to get the buns off the bench. That's okay. Just attempt to. That's working the lower abs right there. And once you come down and the tailbone touches, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I still feel like I can keep my lower back flat. Another technique is to lift your chin down toward your chest. That sort of works the abs from the top down on the crunch, and the lowers are working with the leg raise here. And relax. Good. If at any time you feel more in your lower back and versus the warmth in the abdominal wall, then you're going too low. You need to back it up, the legs up higher, so that the back feels good and safe and the focus is in the abdominal wall. So now we're going to take it, there's a couple options for entry level to get some variety in the mid ab section and lower abs, and that's to slowly do some different things with your feet. That's the scissors. That's going to work those lower abs. Nice and slow flutter kicks. If you feel your legs kicking in a little bit and the abs a little bit less, bring the feet down, take a few breaths, shake it out a little bit, recover. Just really pay attention to what you're doing. Listen to what your body's telling you when you lose the ability to feel the abs being focused on with any technique because of fatigue or the level is too high for you. Back it down, rest a little bit, stretch out a little bit, catch your breath, and go back into it. So one last one for entry level. You can use a little bit of a quicker tempo of taking the legs out. Initially, I was telling you to hold it out here about 5 seconds. That's entry level. This would be a little bit harder. This would be a little bit harder for about 5 seconds. Versus that, you could do continuous 2 seconds in, knees in towards elbows, 2 seconds out. 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out. So even though that's entry level, what I just felt there felt pretty effective for me. So you can get those pretty intense even though it's entry level and keep it safe at the same time. So now I'm gonna go a little bit more advanced. If you've been working out a little bit longer, you got a little bit more ab strength. We're gonna pull the buns up a little bit higher. And as we straighten the legs out, we're gonna start to straighten the legs out a little bit before the buns touch. Now hold it here. I can go a little bit lower. It still feels good on the back, is safe. Abs feel it real nice. So the main point is for intermediate up from advanced, don't pull the buns in the lower back off any higher than that, because if you come too high, then it gets into the back and the tension lets off the abs. You'll feel that. So stay in that sweet spot where the buns come off the bench. Everyone's a little bit different, but about that much. Hold it for 3, 2, and 1. Now, as I straighten my legs out before the butt touches, woo! Oh, that's pretty advanced, man. Even though this is a leg raise, perceivably thinking it should just work the lower abs. When you use these techniques and you go slow and controlled and your mind's in the muscle, you can feel your upper abs as well. Yes, a little bit more of the tension is in the lower abs, but your entire abdominal wall is working in a very unique way. So, one more intermediate to advance. Pause right here. This is burn my abs. Just pause right here. So hold it. Start to straighten the legs out. Whoa. Whoa. Nice and slow and controlled like that. You can increase the tempo a little bit, go a little bit more for repetitions versus isometric squeezing of the abs. Something like this. Woo, my abs are gonna be sore after this demo video. All right, let's put a little twist into it with our hips and our knees going side to side and integrate the side obliques into the lower leg raise. This is an awesome exercise. You can feel the tightness and the soreness here the next day, and you're working the lower mid abs at the same time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! One more time. So the lower back, tailbone comes, buns come off just a couple inches. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Add a little bit of twisting into that intermediate leg raise. It takes the focus to another dimension, works the lowers and the sides. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a break here because my abs are getting smoked. I got the advanced and a couple things, before I get to the advanced, a couple things I want to talk to you about. And that is, you can work your abdominal muscles driving in your car, sitting in your chair, standing, working out with weights, doing something physical, which is the best way to work them. And that is very simply being aware of your breath, and when you exert the push, the positive of any exercise, whatever you're doing, you time the breath out. And when you time the breath out, so if you hear it pulls the belly button in and it cinches up your deepest ab muscle, your TVA, your transverse abdominis. It's a thin sheath that holds your guts in. On top of that, you have your internal and external obliques, these muscles right here. On top of that, you have your rectus abdominis, your 6-pack muscle, your 8-pack muscle. On top of that, that's the 4 layers. So work your deep ab muscles, which is safer for your vertebrae and disc because it's like your internal corset, by blowing your air out when you're doing other exercises. Big breath in, let's say a bench press. You're more powerful on the movement that you're doing, and you're working those deep abdominal muscles, the TVA. You can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe. If your foundation is loose, you're gonna be limited on how much tension you can get on the superficial internal, external obliques and the rectus abdominis. You're gonna be limited on how much tension you can get to your chest or whatever body part that you're working. This is very important. Get in tune with your breath, let the breath out, and when you let that breath out, right when you're doing the positive, the concentric part of each movement, and you're gonna work your abs at the same time, you're gonna become more powerful in whatever body part or whatever movement you're doing. Punching, throwing, plyometric jumping, but in our case, training with weights to build muscle mass, which helps us bring that body fat level down as well. One more time, big breath in. And since I already did the bench press, let's do a back row. Big breath in. Let that air out, pulls the belly button in. Everything goes better, safer, more effective. So now that I've recovered, let me show you from the entry level and the intermediate leg raise. Let's go to the advanced. I think I got enough energy for this. And that should go to show you that even the entry level techniques, when you do them slow and controlled and mindful, can be very, very effective. So here we go. Get back down into our starting position. Got to get my base underneath my shoulder blades nice and tight, especially since this is an advanced movement, but it's important even for entry level. And we're just going to do the leg raise earlier, and we're going to try to hold the legs and the buns off the bench, a la Bruce Lee, the dragonfly. The dragon flag. Bruce Lee was known for the epitome of a lot of things, but especially the abdominal exercise that he did to get ripped six-pack abs. So this is the one that Bruce Lee made famous with the dragon flag. Ooh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some people might be able to hold a little bit longer. Not me, that's about the limit. I started to feel my lower back kicking a little bit. I felt the focus leaving the abdominal wall. I'm going to add a little bit of a different, unique dimension to the lower leg raise, the dragon flag. And I'm going to do the scissors kicks and the flutter kicks. I'm going to try. It's pretty advanced. Ooh. 4, 3, 2, woo, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Holy snikes. So, there's one of the most advanced abdominal exercises I've ever done with the lower leg raise, the dragon flag. Work up to it. Do the intermediate, do the entry level, and then just be really careful. Let's see. Let's add another dimension to the advanced leg raise other than the dragon flag. Let's just do the same thing. Let's get a little bit of hip twist into it. Oof. Ooh. Holy mackerel. One more time. 4. Ooh. Oh my gosh. So if you hear people making noises, working out with weights, grunting, if you're not into it, initially, even myself back in the 80s thought the guys were doing that were being narcissistic. They were drawing attention to themselves. But little did I know that those noises was a part of them exercising more effectively. So make sure that you let that air out, pull the belly button in, and time that breath. I get quite a few questions on how do I breathe during ab exercises. I can tell you it's probably the most confusing body part to have a strategic strategy on when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Especially if you utilize my unique slow-go technique, sometimes it might feel like you just gotta hold your breath during the ab exercise and just take a breath whenever you can. I just call it instinctive survival breathing. Because the techniques that I'm sharing with you are maybe a little bit slower than what a lot of trainers might teach. So if you feel like you're holding your breath during your ab exercise, it's probably okay. Just make sure that when you do that you're gonna come out of it, you're gonna get a breath when you can, and just try to get a breath when you can, like in between the repetitions, and make sure that you're aware of the timing of your breath during regular exercise, but also abdominal exercises. So I hope there's 3 or 4 nuggets there that anybody could take away with the leg raise to more effectively work their lower, mid, and even upper abdominal section with the leg raise. If you got any questions, comment below. I promise I'll stay in there. I'll interact with you if you guys really like this. And the idea of the exercise of the week, I will do more. You just tell me what you want. I maybe would even consider doing a Facebook Live so we could do something interactive. But comment below, give me thumbs up, thumbs down, give me any questions. And some of you got some techniques that might work well as well for abs. Share those down below. So I'll see you next Friday for Exercise of the Week, episode 7.